All right. Looks like the stream is up and running. So, welcome to Modern Semifinals. This is a feature match between Dank Confidant and ssch21, also known as Huey. Um, so, the two decks that we'll be playing today are Yawgmoth, Green Black Yawgmoth. Um, I looked at the list beforehand, and both of these seem pretty standard. I think birds might be a little weird, but other than that, um, yeah, both lists, Yawgmoth and Amulet Titan, they both seem pretty standard. I I'll be honest, I haven't played Modern in a few months, so I'm really not sure if this Emrakul is standard, but I like it. Well, oh, I should say this is Pizza on commentary, also known as Roy. I stream on my own sometimes. Yeah. I'll just be doing solo commentary today. So you get to hear my kinda weird sounding voice. But yeah, um, some thoughts before we start. I would maybe I'm not sure how this matchup is, like typically, but I think the fact that that Dank has this Magus in the sideboard might be a pretty big deal in post-board games. Um, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, before we get started into the match, I'm gonna mention that signups are now live for Modern, well, Hamlander, and Legacy over on the the Untap Open League Discord. So if you feel like you want to join, then head on over there. Um, let's see. Yeah. Untapleagues.com is the website where you can find all of that info. There are probably links elsewhere. I'm not sure. But yeah, that being said, let's get started. Let's see. I should say this is my first time streaming this. So if something weird happens, my bad. I gotta fix these. Let's see. Looks like Dank is on top. Oh boy. There we go. Well, as I said earlier, Dank is playing Yawgmoth. Um, and Huey on the bottom here is playing Amulet Titan. So these these two decks are both combo decks, and they're probably not going to be interacting a whole lot with each other. I guess like Yawgmoth might be able to kill a few creatures like Snipe Dryad, but like I'm pretty sure they're going to be mostly just racing against each. Huey has a good start here with the amulet on turn 1. Dank has the turn 1 ramp. Mm. So Huey's got this Dryad and a Summoner's Pact. So he has, um, I mean, he has his 2 payoffs in hand. Just needs to find a bounce land. Then you can start really going off. Dank is dropping a bunch of stuff, attacking for 3. Notably, these 2 Undying creatures are all he really needs to start going off next turn. He finds that that Yawgmoth, either like a land into natural Yawgmoth or just like Coco, or not Coco, what's it called? Eldritch Evolution or Port of Calling into Yawgmoth. Huey plays the Dryad. I don't know if you would want to play Vesuva here, because you really want to save that for like copying a Boros Garrison or something. Like, yeah, he doesn't play the Vesuva, even though that would technically get him 4 mana, which isn't useful at all now that I think about it. But yeah. Okay, Dank did have the Eldritch Evolution, so he can start going off here. We'll see if he'll be able to kill him 1 turn. I think it's actually fairly likely for him to do. He's at 20 life. He'll be able to draw 19 cards, something. I don't know if you would want to draw 19 cards here. You could do that. And even if he bricks here, Hugh is pretty far off from actually winning the game. Because he doesn't have that bounce land either. So like, Dan could actually fizzle here and still be in a pretty decent spot. Of course, he doesn't know that, but okay, drawing cards. Love to see it. Attack my wolf, draw some cards. He has 11 cards in hand now. Dank said lol in the chat. Okay, looks like he's found something. Oh, there's the Essence Warden. Okay, that's pretty much game. He'll be able to, yeah, he'll be able to draw cards until he finds... Actually, does this just win? Like, he kind of needs to have a Blood Artist to really do damage. And then, like, he can't hoard for Blood Artist. Okay. Oh, I guess he might have Endurance in his deck. I didn't check. Okay, so he's discarding. Sorry, I didn't I didn't study the deck at all beforehand. I'm not sure how you win from drawing your entire deck here. Exactly. Oh, I guess you're discarding your entire deck and then endurancing your deck back into your library. I see, I see. So this is basically like Doomsday. Sick. So what he's doing right now is he's building the perfect hand of 7, right? He drew his entire deck, and at the end of his turn, he's going to keep 7 of his best cards. Ideally, cards that would, of course, win the game. And before his turn, his draw step. Before his draw step, he's going to endurance and then reshuffle his deck back into his life. To keep himself from decking out. Okay, let's look at this for a second. Okay, there's the Blood Artist right there. And I'm guessing he has the Endurance. There it is. So he's pitch casting the Endurance using a Grist. Oh, that's a really cool art. Holy crap. Oh, that looks sick. Not gonna lie. But yes, so he's targeting himself, as you can see by this very convenient arrow. And that is going to shuffle his graveyard back into his library. And Huey's playing Amulet, so there was no way for him to really respond to that. And he can actually win in his upkeep, because right now the Endurance's sack triggers on the stack, right? So in response to the sack trigger from Evoke, he is tapping the Endurance and his other creatures to pay for the Port of Calling. And then that was really cool. The fact that the Endurance was the 5th creature, it basically acted as like a Simian spirit guide in that situation. And not only that, it also acted as like I guess an enabler for that like Yawgmoth Doomsday combo. That is really cool. If you're a Yawgmoth player and you don't play like one copy of Endurance, you really should. Because it can enable that, and it's also just pretty good against like Murktide and stuff. Okay, Huey just kept this hand. This is a really good hand. It has basically everything he wants. So he has the turn 1 Urza Saga, as well as the turn 1 Grazer. For ramp, and also he like protect his own life total from like Strangleroot Geist or something. And of course, it also lets you play this Urza Saga on. And he also has the Summoner's Pact and Bounce Land. So he can get off to a pretty good start here. Thanks also got the Ignoble. That Dryad was a really good draw as well. He's considering playing it. I mean, I would play it. Well, I guess there's you could play around Dismember by not playing it. But I think at this point, you're getting an Amulet next turn. You might as well just put all your win conditions like out there, I think. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, but the top 8 of all UOL leagues is best of 5. So that's why they didn't go to sideboarding after that first game. Because you only sideboard after the second game in this format. So right now it looks like Huey is winning the race. Oh, Dank does have the grist though for the Dryad. Of course, that doesn't deal with the Titan, but that is something. Let's see. So with one amulet, can you win on this board? This is 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. 4 mana without the land. So 4, 6. No, I don't think you can win here. Trying to do the math in my head here. So the amulet um let's allows you to get up to 6 mana with this growth chamber. So you play the chamber, tap it for 2 mana. Oh, but he drew another amulet, so yeah, he's just dead. Okay. Dang. That's a pretty nasty top deck. Yep. He's got the Amulet Titan. Or he has the 2 amulets and the Titan and the bounce land. So yep. These amulets untap the bounce land, right? And this taps for 2 mana. So in response to the bounce trigger from the bounce land, you tap it for mana uh, for as many amulets as you have in play, and then you usually pick it up again. Yeah, 2 amulets definitely an easy win. 1 amulet I think wasn't quite a win because you could give the Titan haste, but then the you would need the 2 amulets for Sun Home plus the Boros Garrison or Vesuva on the Boros Garrison to give it double strike. So if he hadn't drawn that amulet there, um, well, lost my train of thought. If he hadn't drawn that amulet there, Dank would have had another turn. He did draw the amulet, and he died. So right now they are sideboarding. Let's take a look at the deck. I'm kind of curious how they would sideboard. Let's see. Yeah, Yogg is typically a bit faster. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Amulet Titan can be pretty fast. Yogg does have the benefit of having a lot more interaction though, and that could do a lot. Let's see, crime and punishment. I could see Dank bringing in this card because you can play it. I mean, it destroys like Urza's mana, so that's an answer to like one of Titan's best tutors. So he's definitely bringing in the Magus, probably Force of Vigor as well. And it seems like Dank has a pretty good sideboard plan for this matchup. Also, Necromantia. Uh, and Thoughtseize if he wanted to. I mean, you would probably bring in Thoughtseize deck. Well, I guess one thing about Thoughtseize is that it's um it's good at stopping combos, um, but it's pretty bad in like top deck situations. And like Amulet Titan is pretty unique in that it's a combo deck and it's also like a ramp deck, you know. So like you can kind of just win top deck wars by drawing, one of these big things in the late game. Um, and hand hate like this can be pretty bad in those spots when you're just like both top decking. But I don't know. I mean, it honestly can't hurt to just like bring this in, place, I don't know, like grist. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I've never played these ever. On on Huey's side, he's definitely bringing in Dismember. That's like a no-brainer, bro. Otherwise, the needle for sure. Dismember, the pithing, maybe the tireless tracker? Hmm. Probably not. Probably just dismember and pithing needle. Uh, I do think Amulet is probably like the what's the word? The aggressor in this matchup. Dank has probably brought in a decent number of sideboard cards. Um, and while that does like improve your matchup against someone else, that also usually dilutes your own game plan. So you might be going a bit slower in these post board games. Okay, so Dank kept his first, or no, he kept six. Huey is, I guess, thinking. Okay, he also mulliganed the six. He was thinking of on what to put back. Dank has a turn one hierarch, and Huey drew a payoff. That's a pretty big deal because the one thing his hand was lacking before was a Titan. You know. That said, he could get blown out pretty hard by a Force of Vigor here. Oh, okay. Dank didn't have it, but that could have been pretty bad. And Force of Vigor is pretty nuts in this matchup because it deals with Urza's Saga, Amulet, and Dryad. Don't forget this is an enchantment as well as a creature. Dank actually kept a one-lander. But I guess he had two mana door. Worked out. Okay, so Huey played the Gruul Turf, tapped it for mana, picked it back up, and then played this Dryad. One thing that might be awkward for Huey is the fact that this Vesuva is in his hand. If he draws a Titan, right, he won't be able to Boros Garrison plus like Sunhome if he like finds a second amulet or something because he has this Vesuva in his maybe unless he has like another laptop to like play the Vesuva after he gets the Boros Garrison. But even then, it still kind of doesn't work because then he would attack, put the Sun Home in play, and then you know the mana from the main phase would have fizzled by then. Okay, so Dank found an Eldritch Evolution. He's sacking his Yawgmoth. So this is on the stack right now, this Undying trigger. And he gets that Magus, yep. This is a pretty big deal. Because that gets rid of the Urza Saga, which was the second copy of Amulet. Now... Oh, right. I forgot about that dismember. So he dismembered the Magus. Pretty fortunate for Huey that he had that in hand. Otherwise, he might have lost like a whole turn. I mean, even then, like this Magus got rid of that Urza saga, and that is still a pretty big deal. Huey chooses not to play the Vesuva, which is kind of interesting because he could start working up towards this Cultivator Colossus. And yeah, playing the Vesuva this turn would have actually allowed him to play the Colossus next turn because he has 2 land drops with the draw, right? So he plays Vesuva, copies, then he has 3 mana. And with the extra land drop from the Dryad, as well as this Gruul Turf, he can tap this Gruul Turf for 4 mana, and then, play the Colossus. Can you play Colossus next turn? Ah, yeah, you're right. Well, really? Really? No, because this is 7 mana. Yeah, it's 7 mana. Next turn, you would have access to 6 mana at most. Oh, but okay, castle. Okay, I see it. My bad, my bad. This adds that extra. But Dank did have the Thoughtseize, and that Colossus was Huey's only win condition. So now we're in a top deck situation. This Liberator might be getting rid of the Amulet next turn. So Huey has played this Sacra Tribe, which means this Liberator is not going to flip this turn. Dank doesn't have anything to play next turn. I might be able to flip, and that could be pretty useful. I don't remember what it says on the other side. I'm pretty sure it's like when it attacks, you destroy a artifact or enchant, and then that could get rid of like the Dryad or the Okay, so Huey has copied Castle Garenbridge. Okay. Now we're in that spot I was kind of mentioning where the Amulet player has like lands in play, but they're both you're both in like a top deck situation. If Huey just rips an Amulet off the top right now, he can kind of just win. Um, and if Dank brought in like all 3 Thought Seizes, might end up with some dead draws in the future. Bridge is also kind of a dead draw. And he did choose to play it, which is kind of interesting because he could have like sacked or not played it. Because like I'm not sure the 5th mana is really useful here. And if he hadn't played it, then he could have flipped this Liberator. Yeah, he could have flipped the Liberator. Sure. But we'll see what the last card is. Could be something good. Big top deck. Oh, that is indeed a pretty big top deck. That's not a Titan this turn, but it is one next turn. Maybe. And he really needs to do this now. Because otherwise this Liberator is gonna flip. Or like Dank will use the Liberator. So his only blue mana is off of the Dryad at the moment. So if he like passes the turn, like Dank just randomly decides to blow up his Dryad uh, in like his combat step, then this Tolaria West is gonna get stuck in his head. Yeah, I would definitely just transmute this right now. Unfortunately, though, it does seem like Huey is not going to be able to keep Dank from flipping the Liberator. Wait, not Knight, is it? Oh, it is. Okay. He decided to pass. I don't know if I would have done that. Now, if Dank attacks, yeah, Dank can attack with this and destroy the Dryad, and then Huey won't have the blue mana to transmute the Teleria West. Oh, true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Huey played the Vesuva last turn, thinking that he could maybe play a Titan if he top decked one. And like if Dank like decided to blow up the amulet or something. Um, but because he played the Vesuva earlier, he wasn't able to get like the Gruul Turf plus amulet, or he wasn't able to play it this turn and like, copy the Gruul Turf to make enough mana to play a Titan. And it seems like he forgot that transmuting was a sorcery speed ability. Unfortunately, it would be like that sometimes. He does have the Vesuva in hand now. Oh, okay. So the last card was Chord of Calling, or maybe he top decked it. Hard to say. But now he got that Yawgmoth and start going off with the Yawgmoth. Oof. A very unfortunate series of events from a pretty small misplay, honestly. Because now Dank is going to be able to attack with the this thing, blow up the amulet, and after that, Huey just doesn't have anything left really. Although I guess he could like just like top deck a Titan. Although not sure that really does anything. Not without an amulet. Okay. And he's honestly almost dead. He's taking 7. So if Dank finds any tutor, Huey's just dead. Hmm, that's interesting. Dank just decides not to go for it. Probably because he has lethal next turn anyway. And yeah, that's the game. I was actually pretty close, all things considered. I wonder if Huey would have been able to win if he hadn't played that Vesuva. Or if he'd played or if he'd like transmuted that Tolaria West earlier. Okay. Game 4. Huey's on the play this time. And he has a pretty decent hand. Maybe not the best. Um, not the fastest. It has all the payoffs you could ever want. But it's missing like a turn 1 amulet or a arboreal grazer. I'm not sure if I would keep this hand if I were Huey. Because you could just absolutely die to a force of vigor on turn 1 or even like turn 3. Actually, no, not turn 3. Before that. Hmm. Yeah, hard to say. I think I would lean towards mulliganing this hand. Okay, Huey decides to keep it. Dank keeps 7 as well. Turn 1 Saga pass. The classic. Dank has had turn 1 Ignoble Hierarch every game, I think. So far. Oh, Dismember is pretty good. I wonder if he pops that now. Okay, he doesn't. I would actually pretty seriously consider playing Dismember right now, just to slow him down. Because the thing you need most with this hand is time. I think you would probably win given enough time. But who knows? It's of course also important to keep your removal for Magus. And you also don't have a bounce land in this hand. That's one thing I didn't mention earlier. You're missing all the payoffs, but you are, or sorry, you have all the payoffs, but you're missing the one card that makes it. Is that bounce land? Ooh, okay. So it was certainly a good idea to hold on to the dismember. That's why I don't play Amulet Titan. So the Magus is gone now. That's nice. For Huey. The top deck dismember being ended up being pretty crucial. But he's still in a pretty bad spot here. Because that Urza's Saga was his only copy of uh, Amulet of Vigor. Okay, Thoughtseize is actually not that great here. Because he has so much redundancy. Does get to take the Dryad though. That's like the only thing he can play in this hand. Ooh. The Liberator on top of that. Might be pretty rough. Oh, imagine if he had kept that Urza's Saga. He would have found the Gruul Turf and then could have gone off from there, but Tank had the answer. That said, the bounce land is first step for sure. Maybe just a little too late here. Especially with the Liberator flipping. Three cards in hand, certainly more than enough for Dank to win. Or to start snowballing his advantage here. I'm trying to think uh how Huey could like maybe get out of this. Like if Dank has 3 lands in hand. What? How could Huey win this game? Even with 3 lands in hand, I feel like Dank might actually have a good shot at winning, or like winning regardless. Huey would need to find a bunch of lands in a row. Castle Garenbrig, then just start dropping Titans every turn. I wonder what Dank is thinking about here. Because he knows what most of the cards in Huey's hand are. Maybe he was debating between like going for like some kind of combo route or something. But here he's opting to just attack. Surprised he didn't attack with the Strangle Rootgeist. That's more damage. But maybe he's kind of hedging his bets against something. Oh, Urza Saga isn't a bad start by any means. Huey still can't really play anything in his hand, but the Saga will let him get some creatures in play, first of all, to, maybe prevent stuff from happening. But he would maybe have to play a Summoner's Pact to flip this Trap Breaker, actually, for that. Interesting. This card here is doing a lot to keep Huey like in check, because otherwise he'd be able to play the Saga for free. But I think what he's trying to do is, I guess, bait Dank into like sacking this. So we can like get either Saga or Dryad to live, or like he's trying to overwhelm his, I guess, enchantment hate. Oh, okay. Dank is courting for one. Court for one for Yawgmoth. And if that last card in hand is Yawgmoth, he might just win the game here. The Outland Liberator flips because Huey played Summoner's Pact and Dryad. But if Dank finds that Yawgmoth, pretty much lights out. At least there's a good chance it's it's lights out. Kinda looks like he found it. Yep. And so it begins. Yeah, with this board, Dank can win if he finds another quarter calling. He has three more in the deck. He can loop this Strangle Rootgeist and the Yawgmoth. And once he finds a quarter calling, he can tap all five of them to find Blood Artist. But he decides to just uh, go for the Dryad instead. Or maybe he was probably just getting the loop started. Yeah. Okay. He is indeed going for the Dryad. This way he can. I mean, I think it's kind of like two paths to victory here. This is probably the more cerebral approach to doing so. Just because he knows everything. He knows what Huey has in hand. So there's really no need to take the risk. Uh, like, digging for board and then not finding it. When you could just uh, destroy both the Dryad and the Urza Saga. And yeah. Huey even has to pay for the Summoner's Pact next turn. So yeah. Dank has 2 turns to win. Oh, what? Is he gonna do something in his upkeep? Interesting. I mean, I would have just like, you know, done everything like last turn, but oh. Yeah. The Summoner's Pact costs 2 green to pay. Two generic and 2 green. So you can't tap Saga, Root Turf, and the Cavern to pay for it. Oh, another Titan. That is usually a good top deck, but not here. Definitely not here. Okay, well, I kind of see why Dank went for this line here. Because the Summoner's Pact is really keeping Huey from doing anything. Or at least the upkeep trigger is keeping him from doing anything, which means this Liberator is pretty likely to flip. And the GGs have been said. Good games. Yeah, Dank says that was a risky hand for sure. Definitely. It was pretty slow, I would say. Well, those were some good games. The first two were kind of a bloodbath. Both of them just comboing off on each other. But Dank, with the much better sideboard for this matchup, definitely was able to edge it out pretty pretty easily, all things considered. I'll say GG's too. Oh, they well, to everyone watching, thank you for coming by. Yeah. Thank you saying something. Yeah, Dank. Yep. Well, that was pretty cool. Um, I guess thanks to the UOL people for having me on. It was fun to stream again. I mean, this is my first time streaming on like a UOL tournament, but yeah. If you don't know, let me just pull something up here. Sorry, hold on a second. We've got a Discord server. Um, so let me just scroll through the announcements here. So coming up, we have I think three different signups. Yeah, something like that. Well, also team series. No, that was okay. The deadline for that one was today. But let's see. We have signups for the BRO Legacy season, as well as the Modern Row Legacy season. The Legacy is closing this Sunday. Looks like, yeah, 11/28, and Modern is closing on December 4th, which is, I believe, 2 weeks from now. About, or sorry, two weeks from today. About. So if you're interested, come join us. Uh, the Untap Open League Discord is always welcoming new people. And yeah. Oh, there was one more. There was also Canlander, Canadian Highlander. I've never played that format in my life, but that sign up is also going up sometime soon. Or maybe it's already been. Not sure. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good night, everyone. See you all some other time. Maybe. Bye.